So after former President Obama claimed credit for our current economic boom yesterday, President Trump fired back, saying the boom is due to rolling back Obama's policies by cutting regulations and taxes. So who's right? Who cares? Think about it. The debate we're having isn't over how great things are. That ship has sailed. The media and the Dems see there's no more denying the success, so now it's about quibbling over credit. Fine, let the Dems have it. It won't win them election, but it might reduce their tier.
Greg Gutfeld just launched a political bombshell directly at Barack Obama's carefully maintained legacy. And the fallout was remarkable. With cutting sarcasm and absolutely no restraint, Gutfeld sliced right through the myth of the hope and change president. 8 years of unfulfilled promises, 8 years of media adoration, 8 years of elite double standards, all laid bare. You assumed Obama's legacy was beyond criticism? Reconsider. Gutfeld didn't simply pull off the mask. He tore it apart, then posed the one question the entire media establishment was too timid to raise. What did he genuinely accomplish?
Paul, is it helping the party to tell them to return to the rhetoric that helped them lose in 2024, like the dictator kind of stuff? It doesn't work on half the country. It's not going to get any better.
I don't think they have answers. You know, and is it me? He's looking banged up.
Yeah, he's been having
it's the first time. It's something I've never seen with him. He looks scary.
Yeah.
Barack Obama executed the greatest political illusion in contemporary history. He made 8 years of pure letdown appear like a Netflix production carrying a 98% approval rating. Gutfeld requires no magic to cut through that illusion. All he needs is a sharp wit, a handful of inconvenient truths, and the refusal to pretend that soaring speeches somehow make up for failing policies.
Asking you to believe, not in my ability to bring about change, but in yours. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can.
Oh, God.
Well, it was a moving speech, and the audience response equally moving. Series. So if the Obama presidency were a film, this speech would be the climax. All that's missing is the horse, the sunset, the rousing closing music as the title card reads the end, perhaps in cursive.
If you are enjoying this breakdown, please hit that like button and subscribe. Now, let's be completely clear about something. This man governed the country like it was his personal LinkedIn profile. All presentation, zero substance. To hear his supporters describe it, you would think he cured disease, eliminated the deficit, and personally created organic almond milk. Meanwhile, Gutfeld is examining the receipts with one eyebrow lifted, asking what exactly he managed to achieve, besides accumulating drone strikes and celebrity photographs.
See, with somebody that you don't like and you try to lose them at the party. That's what Obama has done to Joe. He's lost them at the party, and now he's moving on. And then he tweets, and then you find out that he's tweeting about something else while you're at the party. And it's just, I think it's kind of mean to Joe. The second thing is that it's part of that I told you mechanism that only happens when things are good. Because do you think Obama would take any responsibility if the good times were actually bad times?
Gutfeld pulls back the curtain with the energy of someone discovering the hidden clauses in a completely rigged contract. Obama arrived promising hope and change. But by the time he departed, hope had become a therapy catchphrase, and change meant residing in a tent behind a Whole Foods. The economy inched forward at a sluggish pace while the media insisted it was racing ahead. Wages remained as flat as a vegan pancake. Yet somehow everyone behaved as though this man had personally distributed golden tickets.
President Obama took another stand against evil yesterday, lashing out at ISIS, pernicious gang crime and human rights abuses in left-wing dictatorships like Venezuela and Cuba. I was kidding. He went after Fox News again.
I think the effort to suggest that the poor are sponges, leeches, are...
Then came the stimulus package. That magnificent trillion-dollar economic injection that was supposed to revive the nation. Gutfeld compares it to pouring a gallon of sports drink onto a blazing forest fire and expressing shock that the trees continued burning. It was a trillion-dollar sympathy event with almost nothing to show for it, unless you count the decorative roadside signs boasting about all the recovery taking place. Spoiler alert, those signs cost more than the positions they were advertising.
In an act of wonderfully skewed priorities, President Obama will appear in a reality TV show in which he gets survival tips from Bear Grylls in Alaska. Funny how far that is from the streets of Chicago, outposts in need of real survival training, much like the streets of Baltimore, Milwaukee, New York, New Orleans, where citizens are ventilated daily.
And healthcare, Obama's so-called crowning achievement. Or perhaps, depending on how frequently you examine your deductible, a crown of suffering. Gutfeld illuminates that disaster like a holiday display during a power outage. The rollout alone appeared as though it was designed by trainees who had never operated a computer in their lives. Remember when Americans were assured they could retain their doctor? Gutfeld is still searching for his, probably somewhere in Canada by now. The Affordable Care Act turned out to be anything but affordable. The actual tagline, "Congratulations, you are now confused and financially ruined." And the Nobel Peace Prize that still makes Gutfeld laugh out loud. It is the political equivalent of presenting someone a gold medal for arriving at a competition in an expensive tracksuit. The media delivered a standing ovation while bombing a wedding reception was treated like a minor scheduling conflict. Then there is surveillance. Obama campaigned on transparency, then quietly transformed the NSA into the unofficial corporate sponsor of Big Brother, America Edition. Gutfeld describes it as the greatest bait and switch since decaffeinated coffee was introduced. Privacy dissolved faster than approval ratings. But as long as Obama delivered the information in that composed, measured voice, people nodded along as though attending a TED Talk.
Michelle Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
Let us revisit Wall Street. Obama was supposedly the defender of the working class, the everyday person's president. But once he actually entered office, the only thing modest about his administration was how frequently it declined Wall Street's requests. Spoiler, it was never. Gutfeld compares it to employing a fox to protect the henhouse, then expressing bewilderment at all the feathers and destruction. The banks departed well-fed, content, and entirely shielded from accountability. Main Street received a participation ribbon and a foreclosure notice. Obama didn't even require a press secretary. He had an entire industry handling his promotional efforts. Gutfeld describes it as the golden era of journalistic flattery. Every action was historic. Every mistake was strategic. Every failure was nuanced. If Obama sneezed, there would be an entire panel on MSNBC explaining how it represented a groundbreaking contribution to climate science.
And maybe Obama had something to do with today's economy. I mean, without Obama, would we have Trump? Fact is, this debate says a lot about life today. The Trump economy is so great that Trump haters now want credit for it. Next thing you know, Obama will claim credit for putting kids in cages.
Education. Let us discuss education. Obama's grand vision for improving schools was to pour enormous sums of money into the furnace of bureaucracy and hope something productive would emerge from the ruins of standardized testing. Gutfeld calls it academic trickle-down. Deposit billions into the unions, cross your fingers, and hope the children learn to read before reaching 30. Inner-city schools did not improve. They received a polished new logo and a 5-year plan leading absolutely nowhere. And the gun control contradiction. Obama enjoyed delivering passionate addresses about firearms while standing behind more armed security than a comic book villain. Gutfeld's reaction is priceless. It is not a gun problem for him. It is a you have one problem. If hypocrisy were an Olympic discipline, Obama would be on the platform, custom-fitted suit and regulation teleprompter in hand. The man deported more individuals than any other president in history while somehow being celebrated as the most compassionate leader of the modern era. The detention facilities for migrant children, he constructed those. He simply did it with soft lighting and a gentle piano melody playing in the background.
5 more words.
Fact. Obama's now a Republican.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody.
Then there is the national debt. Obama nearly doubled it, and people still speak of him as though he were some kind of financial mastermind. Gutfeld's jaw drops every time someone characterizes him as economically responsible. That is like calling an arsonist innovative in home heating. Certainly he inherited a difficult situation, but then he added wallpaper, set it ablaze, and attributed the smoke to the previous occupant. After leaving office, Obama did not retire. He rebranded. Now he serves as the nation's most highly compensated narrator. Gutfeld jokes that if Morgan Freeman ever requires a substitute, Obama already has the cardigan, the warm lighting, and the perfectly rehearsed expression locked in. There are only so many glasses of wine you can share with Silicon Valley billionaires before people begin questioning whether you even recall what ordinary employment looks like. And when Trump arrived and dismantled the Obama legacy like it was constructed from wet cardboard, you could almost detect the quiet distress echoing from Martha's Vineyard. Gutfeld points out that Obama's policies carried all the permanence of a dry erase board. He governed almost entirely through executive orders, then expressed astonishment when those same orders were reversed faster than a failed television pilot.
On Sunday, Val Jarrett went on CNN to defend her pal, President Obama. I wonder if the president prides himself on the fact that his administration hasn't had a scandal and that he hasn't done something to embarrass himself.
The president prides himself on the fact that his administration hasn't had a scandal and that he hasn't done anything to embarrass himself.
Now that's a low bar for achievement. He hasn't embarrassed himself. But it's true, no one on his staff was caught in bed with a giraffe yet. But to agree with Val, you got to ignore the IRS, the DOJ, Benghazi, Secret Service, Bo Bergdahl, and the secret server that led to the Orange Crush.
Obama frequently spoke about unity. His actual approach, however, was divide and distract. While the nation fractured over cultural conflicts, Obama sat back like a man who had just tossed a grenade into a dinner gathering and paused to admire the decor on his way out. Gutfeld says he weaponized political correctness so thoroughly that disagreement became categorized as hatred and sarcasm became an act of defiance. Here is the truth about Obama. He was not incompetent. He was calculated. Every action was choreographed. Every speech was rehearsed. Every response was delayed just long enough to project thoughtfulness. Gutfeld calls it theatrical governance. And it was a masterclass. The scandal-free presidency assertion. Gutfeld dismisses it. That is like claiming a magician never made an error simply because the crowd kept applauding. The scandals existed. The media simply handled them like uncomfortable family secrets locked away in a basement beneath a blanket behind a refrigerator.
Today we woke up to breaking news. Obama isn't woke at all.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. Yep. People who do really good stuff have flaws. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb, or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself because, man, you see how woke I was?
Obama did not drain the swamp. He installed a gift shop inside it. Bureaucracy expanded. Government authority grew. Every department received shinier branding and zero accountability. Gutfeld jokes that under Obama, the government multiplied like a chia pet. Simply add media praise and observe the incompetence flourish. And the arrogance. Gutfeld says Obama could ruin a sandwich and still find a way to blame the bread while passionately commending his own mustard technique. By the time he departed, America was not transformed. It was bewildered, financially strained, divided, and buried beneath a mountain of refined rhetoric. The man pledged to elevate the entire nation and instead spent 8 years elevating himself. Somehow, the applause never ceased.
And now, technically, it's a scandal telling America you can keep your doctor, a callous deception that hurts millions. And it's a scandal of will to deny a toxic doctrine fomenting apocalyptic violence. And it's a scandal to ignore the modern Black Death, a plague currently crippling Chicago. Obama's tenure had more dirty linen than Charlie Sheen's hamper. But when your heart's in the right place, doing the wrong thing's always forgivable. And maybe scandal was just so common we got...
Gutfeld does not roast Obama merely for entertainment. He holds a mirror directly in front of the entire spectacle and poses one straightforward question. Are you still accepting this? Behind the carefully managed branding, the flawlessly framed photographs, and the dramatically timed pauses, what Americans genuinely received was a man who understood how to market hope like a premium technology product and governed like it was a group assignment he had delegated to unpaid interns without internet access. And there remains so much more to examine. the technology censorship that thrived beneath Obama's cultural influence, the manner in which he paved the path for weaponized identity politics to penetrate every institution from elementary school classrooms to corporate boardrooms. But do not worry, Gutfeld is only beginning. Even now, Obama hovers above the wreckage like some untouchable authority figure, appearing only when the press requires a nostalgic dose of manufactured dignity. Gutfeld cannot help but find it amusing. This is the man who established the foundation for every cultural crisis we are currently navigating. The blueprint for cancel campaigns, selective outrage, moral lectures delivered from seaside estates, all stamped proudly with the presidential seal. He did not simply lead, he curated atmospheres, and the outcome, a nation that confuses trending topics with meaningful action and performative virtue with genuine leadership. But as long as the speech carried rhythm and the lighting was favorable, everyone continued behaving as though the empire was not collapsing in slow cinematic motion. And that is the genuine Obama legacy. Not the speeches, not the publishing deals, not the streaming specials. It is the gap, the vast uncomfortable gap between what was promised and what was delivered. Between the soaring declarations and the declining outcomes, between the carefully maintained image and the inconvenient truth concealed just beneath it. Gutfeld did not create that gap. He simply refused to stop looking at it. While everyone else was too occupied applauding the final bow to notice the stage was burning. History will not recall the perfectly timed pauses or the designer sweater. History remembers outcomes. And when you remove the branding, the celebrity endorsements, the admiring media coverage, and the tearful farewell addresses, what remains is a legacy constructed more on mythology than on reality. Greg Gutfeld recognized it, stated it, and laughed while doing so. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do to a carefully maintained illusion is simply speak the truth.